theatre, film, TV and more. Suzy Wrong reviews it all on Joy Drive.
Good afternoon, Suzy Wrong.
Hi Warren, I'm back.
Back from holidays. How were your holidays?
I had a great time with friends, family and food in Singapore for 10 days. I like to go for a period of 10 days and have the best time and then get sick of it really quickly and then come back and then feel homesick right away.
Oh, what was your favourite food that you ate while you were over there?
You are setting me up.
I am.
Listeners, I sent Warren a picture of me eating durian when I was over there, thinking he would be grossed out or just unfamiliar. But turns out Warren's a fan of durian.
I love it. Love it so much, Suzy. Is it durian season at the moment?
Well, I think it is, but also I found that in recent years it's just available year round. It's become such huge business. Like like shops, like proper, quite fancy looking shops that just sell durian or durian related things all through the year. It's become a big business and people spend money on it all year round, and somehow they found ways to harvest it so that you get good quality durian all year round. And I was very pleased with the quality of durian I found over there this time.
Was it
delicious? Fresh? It was fresh, yeah.
Oh,
so unfortunately, I think in Sydney, vast majority of what you find, I'm sure in Melbourne as well, is frozen. But, we're lucky, these days we can get really nice frozen ones. But it was a bit special to have it kind of, just, off the tree and natural and unfrozen. I loved it.
I love it whenever I've been in Malaysia in particular and stopped by one of the roadside stalls that, and there's like hundreds of people just sitting around eating durian, and they look at me like I've got two heads, because why is this guy liking durian? I love it, Suzy. I love it, particularly that Malaysian Musa King one, and you can buy that frozen here.
Yeah, and I can tell you that it cured me of a problem I had. For many, many years, whenever the weather turns cold, I would get really bad sinus problems. It would be dripping and it would be clogged up, and then I would use like medical things that you're not supposed to use for more than a week, and I would use it for 4 months into my nose. And then one day it struck me that there was a, in traditional Chinese medicine, you believe in yin and yang and all that stuff, which is too hard to explain here. But I just thought maybe durian is going to help me, and sure enough, it's helped me. So ever since I made that connection, like when winter begins and I feel my nose starting to act up, I go look for a box of durians and my problem's fixed for the rest of the year. Oh, fantastic.
We're all going to go and get it's a hot fruit, isn't it? It's classified as a hot fruit.
That's right. It's like yang, it's hot. So you're not meant to have too much of it. Actually, when I do have too much of it, there was one time when I had too much of it, I started nose bleeding and I had toothache, and clearly it's too much for my system when I take it overboard.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad, and I'm sure a lot of people are, that you're in Sydney with your durian breath. Well, but welcome back. It is good. We missed you, Suzy Wrong. And today we're going to be talking about something called FANTASMAS, which is a HBO comedy. It's on Binge. 2 episodes have dropped. Suzy, give us your review.
There is no mistaking the fact that Julio Torres is a millennial. His new series, FANTASMAS, meaning ghosts, now streaming on Binge, is a refreshing and often chaotic take on the sketch comedy format. Having honed his craft on Saturday Night Live as a writer from 2016 to 2019, it is evident that Torres is very much at home writing 5-minute vignettes for television that feature absurd situations and characters. These short segments are linked by an overarching narrative about Torres constantly avoiding his personal problems, most notably the letters his landlord keeps sending him. Torres may very well be in his late 30s, but adulting seems a real challenge. In fact, a lot of the humor feels a bit immature in FANTASMAS. I didn't find much of it funny and wondered as I was watching the show if younger audiences would like it any better. I can see a lot of strange, surreal things happening, but rarely did I feel genuinely interested in what he's trying to say. There are many guest appearances by people like Steve Buscemi, Ziwei, Bowen Yang, and Dominique Jackson, but these brief glimpses of great performers only helped a little to pique my curiosity. I admire that it's got a sense of anarchy to its style, but maybe a more pointed approach would work better for some of the social commentary it seems to make. I am very glad that someone Hispanic and queer has found this opportunity to create something different, and I do hope that Fantasmas finds its audience, even if I'm not likely to catch the rest of the series. Warren, how did you go with the first 2 episodes?
Suzy, I was a bit worried that you might think that oh goodness, Warren's really hard to please when it comes to watching things, but I'm glad you didn't like it because I found it very confusing. I felt like someone had put a couple of electrodes onto someone's brain, and the millions of thoughts that happen per second in our brain were just being put onto our TV screens. I found it really confusing. It was like random thoughts on a screen. Didn't gel with me at all. I actually wondered when I was watching it, I thought, am I getting old? Am I so, I don't know, removed from what's happening on TV at the moment? I started questioning it, thinking, why can't I understand this series? Why am I not laughing? I laughed at one thing, and that was when someone went to jump out a window and there was a brick wall there because, that's what New York is like. But I didn't, and they couldn't get out their window because the next building was so close to it. I didn't find it funny at all. It was a bit dystopic as well. I found, about that whole the corporate control. It was a bit like, a bit like Black Mirror, but Black Mirror's done so much better and made so much more sense. But that whole concept of that we're all being controlled by technology and by corporate, and we need these proof of existence ID cards to show that we actually do exist. I thought it's such a good thing, isn't it? Like it could be such a good story in this series about needing to prove your existence and needing to conform, but I just feel like it missed the mark. It was too random, too chaotic for me. It didn't gel at all.
Yeah, well, I guess you and I wanted it to commit to the point a bit more powerfully. Like he was just running around all the time, unable to commit to what seems like his purpose. But I don't know. I don't know. And likewise, I was very caught up in that generational gap thing. I was watching it the whole time thinking, maybe if the younger ones are watching it, they'll get it. Maybe it's a tone that they're familiar with. Maybe it's a style that they're familiar with. I'm glad I tried. I feel like it's important that I kind of keep in touch with the younger generations to see what they're doing and try to understand them, especially if they're queer people. But on this occasion, I did find it like completely uninvolving. I was just not following anything with much interest at all, unfortunately.
Comment that's come in says, absurd is the key word in Suzy's review. That's the descriptor. It's camp and colourful. I suspect it's for Gen Z and not this 52-year-old. So it looks like we're not the only ones feeling the same way, Suzy. Suzy, I've got a question for you. Do you have a black puffer jacket?
I have 2 puffer jackets that I bought last winter, and I'm still wearing them this year. I just love them so much, mainly because I feel like I look a little bit younger in them.
The reason I ask is because there is a significance of everyone having to, and puffer jackets are involved. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a significance of puffer jackets in this series, and you can't get out, I suppose, into the world unless you do conform in a dark puffer jacket. What colour are yours, Suzy?
They're both black.
Both black. Do you know, I've got to tell you this story. I love going to Japan, and of course, there in winter, everyone's wearing black, and I bought this puffer jacket over there, and it's bright green, like the brightest green you could ever get, and whenever I wear it every year when I go to Japan, and I stand out like anything. And the reason I wear it is because my friends or whoever can just say, there's Warren. They can see me a mile away, but I don't conform, which is so unlike me because I don't like to stand out, particularly here, and I would have the dark things. But I'm surprised you went for the dark ones and not for the colourful ones.
Well, what I can say about my 2 puffer jackets is one is extremely short and one's extremely long.
Oh, you've got one of those sleeping bag ones.
Yes. So they kind of look a little bit different. They're not so normy.
Okay.
But there is a sense of norminess to them. And I think there isn't very much in my wardrobe that's very normy. So I do feel funny when I'm wearing them. When I pull them out, I kind of have a bit of a chuckle to myself. But they're extremely comfortable. and with age, you do kind of go for comfort a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you try to dress it up still. You can dress up a puffer jacket.
Was there ever a time, Suzy, when you wanted to blend in?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so, but maybe in my childhood, I don't think I thought of it in terms of blending in with other people, but kind of acceptance, I guess we always deal with acceptance, but somehow I don't recall that acceptance had to do with blending in or conforming for me. I think I was always so clearly an outsider, someone being identified by society as male and then being just extremely feminine. Like, people were constantly pointing out to me my difference, and I don't remember trying to make that different, trying to change that and make myself feel more kind of part of the crowd. I just remember kind of understanding that I'm just different, and somewhere along the way it became a self-acceptance thing, which I'm very grateful for, because clearly some people never got to that stage of being able to accept their own difference, and I think that's a sad thing. Do
you find now, though, being, I suppose, comfortable in being so different and comfortable in yourself, you can wear that puffer jacket, you can put it on and think, you know what, I can choose to wear a black... I can't believe Suzy Wrong's got a black puffer jacket. I can choose to wear my black puffer jacket and I don't care that I'm essentially...
No, I don't think that I can do anything and look normal, honestly. I don't know what I can do with my appearance to make myself look normal. I don't know. Maybe it's part of my delusion or something. I just don't think that that's possible, and I'm comfortable with that.
I love it. You've heard it first. Suzy Wrong has black puffer jackets. Good on you, Suzy. I've got a black one too, I have to confess as well. Suzy, what are we going to watch for next week? Next week, we're tuning in to Netflix for Outstanding, a history of LGBTQIA plus stand-up comedy in a funny and heartfelt documentary featuring personal stories from an all-star roster of performers. That's on Netflix and it's called Outstanding, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Joy Drive.